Welcome to Frequency Matters, the RF and Microwave Update Series. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Jenn DiMarco, and alongside me is my co-host, Tim Rainear. I'm honored and grateful to take on this new role and look forward to continuing to create content that connects our community, highlights innovation, and keeps us informed about the latest developments in RF and microwave technology. Our sponsor for this episode is RFMW. RFMW is a technical distributor of RF, microwave, and power management products. As you begin your next design, consider exploring their broad portfolio of product lines and supplier partners on their website. I'm also very excited to share that Higham will be returning to Microwave Journal. Eric will serve as a technical consultant, and many of you will see him at next week's IMS event in Boston and future online events. We're thrilled to welcome back his experience, insight, and long-standing connection to the RF and microwave community. Welcome back to Eric. For today's episode, Tim and I are going to take a look at the June issue themed Semiconductors and RFICs. In this issue, we highlight two advances helping push RF and microwave engineering forward. One focused on building more capable front-end systems, and the other on improving how we measure them. First, Stephen Fireman of Otava RF presents work on enabling wideband phased arrays using SOI tunable filters and heterogeneous front-end integration. The goal is to create RF front ends that are more flexible across wide frequency ranges. SOI tunable filters allow a single front end to adapt to multiple bands, helping reduce hardware complexity. By combining multiple semiconductor technologies through heterogeneous integration, designers can optimize different parts of the system for performance, efficiency, and linearity. Together, these techniques support more compact and adaptable phased array architectures. Second, the team at Anritsu Company discusses a next-generation vector network analyzer, or VNA. Their work focuses on expanding measurement capabilities for increasingly complex RF devices and systems. As modern components become more broadband, nonlinear, and highly integrated, VNAs must deliver higher accuracy, improved dynamic range, and more robust performance across wider frequency ranges. This next generation of VNA technology enables engineers to more precisely characterize advanced devices and systems. Taken together, these contributions highlight an important industry trend. As RF systems become more advanced and integrated, measurement technology must evolve alongside them to validate performance and enable continued innovation. Tim, what were some of the other highlights from the June issue?
Thanks, Jen. Star Dynamics shares its use of focal plane arrays, or FPAs, for testing military radar systems. A test environment utilizing FPGAs enables a much easier setup and more comprehensive testing. Conventional testing using feed horns relies on a single feed, which must be physically moved to change the wave's angle. With FPAs, there's no need for physical movement and fewer mechanical parts, since no scanners are involved. This results in significant savings in maintenance costs and less mean time between failures. FPAs also enable high-throughput testing from multiple angles simultaneously, making them ideal for testing complex radar systems. They provide better illumination due to their uniform power distribution and deliver better overall results. Traditionally used in SATCOM system testing, this COTS-based technology has already been proven in other industries. FPAs can help minimize the test time required and ensure that radars operate as intended and with high reliability and the capability to handle ever more complex threats. The June issue also features a new device from Ultim RF. The ARF 1221Q2 is a general-purpose 6 to 18 GHz low-noise amplifier housed in a 2.5 by 2.5 QFN package. This LNA MMIC is fabricated using a gas process and requires only a single positive bias ranging from 3 to 8 volts. It provides 24 dB of linear gain and sports an impressive low noise figure of 1 dB. It offers an output of P1 dB of plus 12 dBm and an output IP3 of 30 dB when operated at 5 volts. The RF ports are AC coupled and internally matched to 50 ohms. Target applications include test and measurement and aerospace and defense. Due to its wide operating range of 16 to 18 gigahertz, it could also be used in a multiband radar covering C, X, and KU bands using this single LNA.
Thanks, Tim. And turning to news and events, with the IMS 2026 taking place next week, we're already seeing well over 100 industry news announcements and product releases surrounding the show. And with that, we encourage viewers to visit microwavejournal.com, IMS/IMS 2026 for our dedicated IMS coverage microsite. In the news last week, Susan Ocampo, co-founder of Gas Labs LLC, announced the establishment of a $100 million fund, the John Ocampo Endowment Fund, to support RF, microwave, and photonics engineering research at leading academic institutions. This fund honors the visionary spirit of the late John Ocampo, a pioneer in the compound semiconductor industry, whose work was dedicated to advancing high-speed communications across cellular, satellite, aerospace and defense, and data center applications. Tim, what news stories caught your attention this week?
Hi, Jen. Like you said, the news is full of dozens, if not hundreds, of press releases on new products and other technological advances that will be formally announced at the Microwave Show in Boston next week. One that was of particular interest was from Integra Technologies. They announced the industry's first single high-voltage GaN on silicon carbide transistor that produces 10 kilowatts of pulsed saturated output power at L-band. The IGN 1030S 10000 operates at 150 volts and establishes a new industry benchmark for high-power L-band RF transistor performance. We plan to feature this device on our most valuable product, what we call our MVP, in our upcoming July issue. In space news, the U.S. Space Force has awarded SpaceX a nearly $4.2 billion contract to build a constellation of satellites designed to track airborne targets from orbit, marking one of the Pentagon's biggest bets yet on shifting battlefield surveillance missions from aircraft to space. The agreement, announced May 29th, covers the first increment of a space-based Air Moving Target Indicator Network. The program is intended to detect, track, and maintain custody of airborne targets, including fighter aircraft, bombers, cruise missiles, and potentially hypersonic weapons. This contract is intended to supplement existing terrestrial and aircraft warning systems and accelerate the deployment of space-based sensing layer capable of tracking airborne threats on a global basis. In other space news, Blue Origin did not have a good week. A New Glenn rocket exploded at Cape Canaveral during a launch pad test firing on Thursday, May 28th. The U.S. Space Force said there were no injuries at the Florida launch site following the incident. The rocket was being prepared for a launch carrying a batch of satellites for Amazon's LEO internet constellation. Luckily, the satellites were not on board for this static fire test. The explosion caused extensive damage to the launch pad facility, toppling one of the 600-foot-high lightning towers. This explosion will lightly impact timelines for the rocket's customers, including Amazon LEO, AST Space Mobile, NASA, and its national security certification for the U.S. Space Force. Turning to upcoming events, Microwave Journal has 2 online webinars coming up in June. On June 16th, we have one titled Addressing Performance and Reliability Challenges in Next-Generation Space Communication Systems with Advanced RF Components and Assembly Architectures. That one is sponsored by Renaissance Electronics. And on June 25th, we will have RF over Fiber, Benefits of Emerging Communication Technology. That is sponsored by Pasternak and RFW. Jen, I think you had some events to announce as well.
Yes, thanks, Tim. MWJ is proud to partner with a number of industry events. This summer, we also look forward to supporting the IMPI event taking place in New Orleans, Louisiana, June 16th through the 20th. We also look forward to supporting IEEE EMC SIPI taking place in Dallas, Texas, August 3rd through the 7th. And then, of course, the important European Microwave Week taking place in London, October 4th through the 9th. Tim and I look forward to connecting with many of you at these upcoming events. We also look forward to seeing many of you at next week's IMS, and be sure to join us next episode when Tim takes the lead as host of Frequency Matters. Be sure to stop by booth 20029 to get your 2026 t-shirt in AI photo. We'll have 7 backgrounds to choose from, so a fun experience. Thank you to our sponsor for this episode, who is RFMW. RFMW is a technical distributor of RF, microwave, and power management products. As you begin your next design, consider exploring their broad portfolio of product lines and supplier partners on their website. And please remember, if you are a member of the RF and microwave industry, a subscription to Microwave Journal is free. Please visit our website at microwavejournal.com. That concludes this episode of Frequency Matters, and thank you to RFMW for sponsoring this episode. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.